Hello and welcome to the Q&A for how to apply to university and how to apply to college. This was initially recorded the other day, but the recording quality was not great, so I decided to do it again. So I've taken the questions that were asked at the Q&A and I'm going to walk us through them today. So one of the first questions I received was about college, and I just want to flip my screen to the college application site. So this is ontariocollege.ca. At this point in time, anyone who's interested in starting a program between August 21st and July 22nd, which is most of our grade 12s who are applying to college, you can apply now, and you're simply going to click on the Apply Now button and get started. So that's the good news. The other thing I did mention in the Q&A the other day is that no one has to request a transcript. So once you have completed your application, there is going to be a pop-up to request a transcript. Do not do that. In fact, you will see your marks in the application as soon as you've put in your OEN number and gotten connected to your information. So no requesting of transcripts required. One of the other questions I received the other day was also how do you move from a college program to a university program? So, interested in going to university, but perhaps doing college first just to get yourself in a better position to go to that university program. So this is the website. I didn't show this the other day, but it's called ontariotransfer.ca, ontransfer.ca up here. And I've clicked through a little bit already, but here I can search for program transfers. And I'm going to give a quick example here. This student is saying they're going to attend Sheridan College, can choose from them, going to do a business program. And where they want to go after college is to a bachelor's degree at a university program. And they're open to all disciplines and they're open to all institutions. So once you've done that, then you can search for transfers. And what this is doing is finding already pre-existing transfers. There are many, many beyond what you're going to see here. A lot of agreements are made between colleges and universities without having a written document, but these are all written ones. So let's take the example of a student here is thinking of going from their business admin two-year program at Sheridan College. Here, they did a business-based program for 2 years, got their diploma. They can then transfer to Brock University and go into their degree program. So I want to see if you can see the details. So here's the details. Your sending institution is Sheridan College. Any 2-year program will allow you to go to Brock University into their Bachelor of Arts program. And it will go on to tell you how they're going to treat you. I'm going to give it in a quick summary. Effectively, what they're saying is you do 2 years at college, and then you go and do 3 years at university, which would normally take 4 years. So you knock 1 year off of university because you did 2 years at college. And again, I'll remind you that 2 years of college is less expensive than 1 year at university. So 2 years of college, finish your program, apply to university, and rather than do 4 years, you're going to do 3 years at the university. So that was one of the questions, and I appreciated that question. Another question was about the, so I'm going to move into the universities because that's where I got a lot of questions after that. So when will we be receiving our PIN number? Hopefully some of you have started receiving them already. In fact, I've heard from a couple students who did receive them in the mail just recently. So look for them in the mail. You need to make sure your address is correct. And once you get that letter, open it up and you're going to have all your information for how to actually start your application. Another question I received was, when are we transmitting dates or grades? And I'm going to tell you that the other day I gave one piece of information, but I'm going to give you new information today. So just over the course of today, I learned that the Peel Board of Education will be transferring your Q1, your Quadmester 1 grades, to OUAC and OCAS on November 18th. So that's after Q1 is finished. So that is new information that I did not have the other day, but it's important because you're going to be able to go in and see that those 2 grade 12 marks, if you took 2 courses this semester, or this quadmester, sorry, are on your application. So that's both for OCAS and OUAC. The next transmitted time is in February. And in February, we'll be transmitting all of your September 1 grades. And in April, we'll be sending your Q3 midterm report cards. So it's been interesting because this year we sent your Q1 midterms, something we normally never do in semester 1, but this year your universities will be able to see your midterms from Q1. That's new. In middle of November, 18th, we're sending your finals from Q1. In February, we're sending your finals from all of semester 1. So they'll be able to see all 4 or 3 courses, whatever it is for you. In April, around April 20th, we're going to be sending your Q3, so your courses that you're taking from February to April, but we're sending your Q3 midterms. We will not have your finals by the time we have to report to your universities. So your universities, by the time they make their final offers, will have all of your semester 1 finals and your Q3 midterm marks. So then the question came up about offers. And, if I get an offer now versus I get an offer in May, regardless of whether you get an offer now or like December, January, because you applied early, or if you get an offer in February because you met the deadline of January 15th, or if you get your offer in May, all of those offers are considered conditional. And their conditions will be stated in the acceptance letter. So it may mean you have to achieve a certain overall average by the end of July in your top 6 marks, or it may be that you have to have a certain mark in a math course or an English course to maintain your offer. But 80% of offers come in May, only 20% before May, and you will receive it in your OUAC application, and OCAS is the same. You'll receive the offer. In your application, you'll also receive an email, and sometimes they even mail a letter to give you your offer, especially if they want to send you a package of information. So you need to make sure you're looking at any conditions. One of the things I covered the other day in the question was the example of, I'm applying to a program and I have to have Chemistry for You in my prerequisites for my university program, but I don't have Chemistry for You until Q4. So in other words, after the universities have to make all their decisions, I'm going to be taking one of my prerequisite courses. What are they going to do with that? So pretty much every university, and I'll tell you the exception in a minute, but every university is saying they will use your grade 11 chemistry mark, 3U mark, in replacement of the Chemistry 4U mark until they get your final mark. So again, your conditions are you're going to have to complete Chemistry 4U and maintain a certain average. The only exception, and I sat through many different university sessions, McMaster has always had a policy that they do not use grade 11 marks for average. And that's, all but 2 of their programs, that's the rule. They will not look at grade 11s. They have told us that they are not going to look at grade 11s this year again. And if you need Chemistry for You, let's keep my same example, you need Chemistry for You for your program and it's in Q4, they are going to leave a blank for that course. And then they are going to create your average based on 5 courses. So all of your semester 1 courses or all of your previous grade 12 courses, plus maybe your midterm mark from Q3, to get your average using 5 courses and leaving the Chemistry for You literally blank so that it doesn't hurt you and it doesn't help you. they're not going to reach back and take your grade 11 mark. Another question came up was, I want to apply for the Queen's Major Awards Scholarship, and I have to apply in November to be considered. Do I have to complete my whole application? And the answer is no. You're paying $150 for 3 programs. If you only put in the Queen's program, you're still going to have to pay the $150, but you can go back and put in those other 2 programs, and you shouldn't be charged for it because you have 3. So if you're in that position that you have to apply and you don't know what your other 2 programs are going to be, you can definitely apply for Queen's on its own. OUAC, offers of admission and alternate offers. This is an important one, and I wanted to show you on the screen here how to check if a university gives alternate offers. And the other thing is, what other information can I find? So I'm going to show you here. I know I showed it in the presentation previously, but this one's specifically about individual universities. So I'm going to click on universities here. And I'm going to use, I'll stick with Queen's because we were talking about that a minute ago, Queen's University. So this is Queen's University, their information page on ontariouniversitiesinfo.ca. And you'll notice that over on the right here, there's a bunch of information. Where you want to go is offers of admission. Once you're in offers of admission, you're going to find out there's a lot of information here, and you may find this really helpful because they're going to cover off how they're going to create your average, and in particular for this year. Okay, so a lot of the universities have updated this information to our unusual circumstances this year. They have your information about your failed and repeated courses, how they're going to use that into your marks. And I wanted to bring it down to the bottom of the page here about alternate offers. And this is really important to me because this is about how much money you're going to spend on your application. So if you, in your heart, want to go to Queen's University, that's your first choice, and you definitely want to be there, and you're willing to consider a couple different programs, and let's use the example of engineering is my #1 program, and it's a little bit more competitive than a Bachelor of Science, but I'm going to apply for engineering. I want to know if I pay my $50 and apply to engineering at Queen's, if I don't make the grade for engineering, will they automatically offer me a spot in a Bachelor of Science? And what they say, Queen's University does not make alternate offers of admission. You're only considered for the programs you apply for through the OUAC. You should ensure all program choices are listed on your application. So therefore, if your heart's set on going to Queen's University and you're prepared to consider 1 or 2 programs, make sure you apply to every program you'd be interested in. And then I'm going to show you a different university. So I'm going to click on University of Guelph. That's one I've checked out before. I'm going to click on offers of admission. And again, they have the same information that you might want to check out. They've got some additional information here about the student profile form that you are recommended to fill out. But down at the bottom here, they do have information about alternate offers. So what they say at the University of Guelph is students will be considered for all programs they've applied to at the University of Guelph. If you apply for but are not admitted to a co-op program, so co-op is one of their most competitive programs, you will automatically be considered for the regular program. So take the example of a student who's applying to the co-op business program. The grade's very high, it's very competitive to get into the program because it's very desirable. If you don't quite make the grade for the co-op program, they will automatically consider you for the regular program. That's going to save you money. You do not have to then pay for the co-op business program plus the regular business program. They go on to talk about another few specifics. If you apply to biomedical science, animal biology, or human kinetics, you will automatically be considered for the Bachelor of Science. So again, you don't have to apply twice to University of Guelph to be considered for more than one program. So this is going to be critical for students who are applying to know whether they should be applying for every single program they're interested in or whether alternate offers will be made. Another question was, do I have to put all my choices in at once? And the answer is no. The OUAC gets flagged if you make an update to your program choices. So say you go in, you complete your application, you pay your $150 and you have put 3 programs in. And then between the time you apply and January 15th, which is the deadline, you find another program that you're really keen on and you want to make sure you apply for, you can go back into your application, add that new program, and they will charge you an additional $50. And then OUAC gets flagged that you made a change, and that information will then be distributed to the new program for which you have applied. So, there's a couple of things you can think about when you're doing your application. You can go in and out a number of times. You can go check it out, start building your application, then leave, then you can come back in another day, you can show someone what you're doing, whatever you want to do. But ultimately, once you verify your information and pay, it's going to be sent off to the universities. And once you make a change, then the the OUAC will be flagged that you made a change. Another question that came along with that was, what if I change my programs? I change my mind. I've paid for it, but then I make a change of mind. So let's take the example of Trent University has a criminology program. You didn't know it. You applied to the Bachelor of Arts program and you paid for it and it went off to Trent. But now you realize they've got this criminology program you want to apply to. So you can go in before January 15th and change that program to criminology, and they will not charge you for it because it's in the same university. However, if you say, oh, I applied to Trent, but now I want to go to Laurier's program because I found they had a criminology program and Laurier is a little closer. If you cancel your Trent application and you add Laurier, they are going to charge you an additional $50. So it's important to know that if you're going to a different university, it's going to be an additional charge. And it does add up. Regarding transcripts, again, absolutely no one needs to request a transcript. The only exception is if you are applying for a scholarship, not an entrance scholarship at the universities, but a scholarship that's an external scholarship or a special scholarship. If you are looking for a transcript in that case, you're going to be contacting Miss McGee, who's our admin assistant in guidance, and she will hook you up with a transcript. Another question I received the other day was, what is co-op at university? So it's similar to what you'll see in a high school, but it's different. Co-ops are very competitive because they're very desirable. Why are they desirable? It's a guaranteed job when you're not at school. It's good pay, and it's also in your area of expertise. So I'm going to go back to my example of the co-op business program at Guelph. I sat through their presentation and they said, yep, definitely probably one of the most competitive programs they have. And it's competitive because you'll do your 8 months at university first year, and then you'll be assisted to find employment for 4 months in an area of interest to you and your program. And they say generally the pay is very good, and you're going to have several co-op experiences. I gave the example because it was kind of fun the other day of a friend of mine. His son was in a co-op program, and it was like a hospitality human resources business program, and his university placed him at a hotel in Hawaii. And although that can't happen this year, that's a pretty cool opportunity to get a placement in Hawaii in your area of interest and getting a good level of pay. Question came up, can you apply to co-op after? So say you don't get in out of high school, and I cannot speak to every university, you would have to ask the individual university, but generally I'm going to say no. Guelph said definitely not. If you don't get in at a high school, you're not going to be able to apply to it later, but you could always ask later from your university. I was also asked, who should we ask questions when they're specific to me and what I'm planning to do? And although me, Mrs. Allworth, I am the person who does the presentations for university and college and post-secondary. I will remind you that your guidance counselor is the person who you should be emailing your questions to if you have specific questions for your planning and your program. If there's anything that they're not sure of course, we always confer, but do not send them to me, send them to your guidance counselor. Another question I received was, how do we notify the university that I want to do a double degree or a double major? So it depends on the university. I was in the application the other day and I noticed that some universities actually have a specific code for a double degree. And then you're going to be putting that into the system and you might have to answer some additional questions in your application about what you're looking to do. However, a lot of universities will have you apply to the basic program and then decide by the end of your first year of university if you're doing a major, if you're doing a major with a minor, if you're doing a double major or a double minor, whatever it might be. There's a whole bunch of different combinations. The individual universities will guide you once you're at the university on how to declare what your plan is. Someone asked me, and I know I already talked about alternate offers, should I apply to multiple programs at the same university if I really want to go there? So just to go back to that whole kind of idea of alternate offers, if the university is automatically going to consider you for an alternate offer, you should not waste $50 on applying to a second program. However, if your university says they do not make alternate offers and you really want to go to that university, then definitely look at applying to more than one program. Some universities do require you to do a personal response form. So I am going to click back here, and I did see it on the University of Guelph under their offers of admission. And here they talk about the student profile form. The University of Guelph recognizes that non-academic factors play an important role in students' lives. All semester one applicants have the opportunity to complete and submit a student profile form. So that's you guys. So they do recommend it. They talk about leadership and citizenship qualities, as well as extenuating circumstances if necessary. But it may be helpful for you to do a student profile form. Some universities will not consider you for the program unless you do that personal response form or if you do an interview, etc. So that is important to make sure you don't miss that. In your application, it does allow for ranking, and that came up the other day in the questions. So does it matter how I rank the university in my application? And what I keep hearing from the universities is it has no bearing on your acceptance. So whether you put Toronto as your first choice, or if you put Ryerson as your first choice, or if you put Ryerson as your fifth choice on your application does not matter. Really, I always say to students that ranking is a way for you to remember your first choice, second choice, third choice, fourth choice, etc. Okay, so universities say it does not matter. Of course, you can read about that on the university information here, just in case, like if you just want to double check. And the last question I answered was, what if I don't get any offers? So tough way to end the Q&A, but the reality is there is always the situation where a student or two does not get any offers. And generally what I would say about that is they probably didn't have a solid backup plan. So yes, we're going to strive for our goal, our dream program, our dream institution, the one that is the one that's nearest and dearest to your heart. However, don't set yourself up that you might not get any offers. And I'm going to give the example of business as one of the ones I see most often. Students apply to business across the board. They might apply to 5, 6, 7 different universities for business. All of those programs require math, yet their math marks are kind of low. They're having a hard time in math, and therefore their average gets dropped, and their math marks are too low for the business programs. Then they may find themselves without any offers if the universities do not give alternate offers. You need to have a solid backup plan. Consider a Bachelor of Arts program for that university, or same thing with engineering or life sciences. Make sure you have that backup plan of a Bachelor of Science somewhere, somewhere you know you're going to get in and that you'd be happy to be going to that university. However, come May 27th, if you do not have any offers, you can know that come the beginning of June, all the universities will post what programs are still accepting. It's usually very slim pickings. There's not a lot of options, but there are options. And so a student in June can go and look and see what universities will still be accepting applications. So that was the extent of the questions the other day. And thank you for listening. And I hope you have a great day.